Hey, there we go. Man, it is hot in this bus. I'm cutting up some panels that'll still be for the bunk, like partitions. So I'm still fine-tuning. I was fortunate in the back of the bus I took a panel off and I can kind of template the top. So this is all, a good start for me. And then it just gotta, get a little bit closer. And again, you can see the opening for the wire harness going down the top section that'll be covered later, but that way I can continue to run wires. So that'll be good. And yeah, I'm fortunate. This bus, the infrastructure's here, the electrical system. I have the bus plugged in, and this is just another tidbit. But on electrical systems for RVs and campers, you'll notice this thing has a circuit breaker box, and I'm fortunate for that. And then also there's this big selector knob, and that's really cool. And the bus came with two generators, or would have originally had two generators on it that were 220 volt. And this electrical system infrastructure is designed for 220 volts. That's my point. Campers and RVs usually have a 20 amp, or I should say 20 amp, 30 amp, 50 amp, 120 volt electrical connection. So like on my Sprinter van, I'll show you the back here. This is my work truck. And all the plywood for the bunks and stuff. Woohoo! But I have a little circuit breaker box in here that I put in. And so when I plug the truck in, shore power, which can be just a regular plug, 120 volt, 15 amp, whatever. And when I'm not plugged in, I can run solar, charges the battery, and then we got an inverter. So I can continue to charge my Milwaukee DeWalt tools and all that stuff while I'm parked for the day. I don't have to run anything or plug in the truck. I can just be charging tools off of the solar, which is really cool. And these are old solar panels and not the most state-of-the-art, but it's worked. So in the front of the van, I just got a little 120 volt plug that I made. This is kind of primitive, but it works. It's tie wrapped to the frame rail all the way to the back and then pops into the circuit breaker box. It works all right. The plug gets iced over in the winter time, and you got to be careful. It has nothing to do with the engine systems. It's just a separate electrical system for outlets and stuff. So that's like regular. And I can plug it in an outlet at home, which is handy. But when you get to an RV or a camper, they seem to have these twist locks. And I won't take it off right now because I got the refrigerator plugged in. But anyway, so it's a 50 amp connection. And you can get adapters. And I guess as long as you're fused, like at the source at 20 amps, then you're good to go. As long as you don't exceed that. So, but it's 120 volts. So, I guess my point is that circuit breaker boxes have a 220 volt infrastructure. It's designed for, two legs, if you will, L1 and L2. So it's interesting. You have to bridge it sometimes. On the Sprinter van, I made a contactor. So when I plug into street power, the contactor pulls in and then gives you power for, say a unit heater, a little electric toe kick heater or something like that. And I'll be doing the same thing on the bus too. And then when you switch over to generator, or I'll also have a 220 volt inlet as well that'll use like a twist lock, like L1430 type thing. But anyway, it's not a NEMA listing as far as I can tell. It's called special use or something like that on the NEMA chart. And it's for 120/250 volt. It seems like, because that's what I read. I may be incorrect, but so when we go to do outlets for people with RVs, it's kind of weird, running a 50 amp number 6 wires and this huge outlet, weatherproof for an RV to plug in, but it's just 120 volts, and that's so all the appliances and everything could work at a lower amperage connection. So yeah, that's interesting electrical stuff. But anyway, back to the bunk making thing. And it is a little cooler. The sun's coming out, and there's not really any air moving in here. So, but we'll get there. So, big fun. God bless. See ya.